Well, good morning, everybody. It is a kind of Friday off. Got just a thing or two to take care of at the church. We're going to be setting up a wireless cam on stage to capture something different this week. But a couple errands to run this morning. Going to go grab some coffee, and you guys are coming with us. Let's go. We are currently sitting at a bakery that I actually mentioned a few weeks ago in my first Weekday vlog. We are having us some coffee and some croissants this morning, so we're going to chow down and then we're going to go run some errands. All right, we are caffeined up, so my lovely bride and I are going to run over to a couple of stores over here and pick up a few things for the pups, and then you guys and I will head to the church campus. Right, dog toys acquired, doggy treats acquired. Back to the house. So we were going back to the house, but now we're making a pit stop because my wife decided she wanted pickles. So into Kroger we go. Well, despite our best efforts, you never really can go into the store for just one thing, can you? Well, it is 11 o'clock in the morning, but it is already 91 degrees in Texas, and it's supposed to be 97 today, which means the heat index is going to be like 102. I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not here for it. All right, so we are back at the house. The dogs have their new toys and they're loving them. I'm gonna get a little bit of work done here. Got a couple of bids I need to put together, a couple of build sheets. We are converting our lobby TVs over to an SDI feed, which really just means re-terminating them, but then we have to get them into the TV. So I need to order some SDI to HDMI converters from Blackmagic. And then need to put a couple more little bids together for future projects I can't quite tell you about yet. But I'm going to get that done, and then you and I will head up to the church campus, and we're going to take a look at the mobile cam situation that I'm putting together to be just a movable camera that I can move around to different spots on stage from week to week. Got a GH5 going on a tripod, and we're just going to see what we can get away with. So I'll see you there. Alrighty, guys. Well, it is a couple hours later, and I'm headed to the church campus. Well, I have a pit stop first. I'm going through the car wash because my wife drove my car yesterday and told me this morning that it was filthy and I needed to clean it. So I'm going to do that because she's right. I've been living out of my car for like the last 2 weeks because I've been so busy. But we're going to run through the car wash. I'm not going to make you guys watch it this time. And then off to the church campus, which is just a few minutes away. All right, we made it to the church campus. I'm currently standing in our green room. I've got to do something real quick before we get to the GH5. That table has to go away. And I've got to get the fridge and the snacks stocked for Sunday morning because, as always, Sunday's coming. So hang tight. I'll be right back. And there it is. Oh, minus my Red Bull. Our Sunday morning snack selection. That said, I want to take just a second and talk about why we do this. It's something very small that can go a very long way with just taking time and effort and a few dollars to show your volunteers that you really appreciate them. Whether it's the mom that sings that has a hard time getting out of the house one morning with her kids and needs something to eat before she goes on stage to rehearse, or your lighting engineer that was in a rush and came in late and didn't have time to stop for breakfast. They can get water or a coffee, juice, and a snack, and now they've at least got something in their stomach and they feel like they've been taken care of. So I encourage you, if you don't have some little ministry like this, go talk with, whether it's your worship pastor or your executive pastor, lead pastor, whoever, and say, hey, we'd really like to get this little ministry going for our volunteers, because they do put in so much time and effort. They go work a 40-hour job all week, and then they come and they volunteer here with us on a Sunday. So we want them to know that we love them, we appreciate them, we value them not only as a person, but their effort, their heart for servant leadership. So yeah, I encourage you to get something like this going if you don't already. We just started with a case of water and then bought a fridge and just kind of grew from there, but man, it's so worth it. And there was light. So, I'm going to gather a few things now that we're in the worship center. We're going to need a GH5, we're going to need a stand, we'll need a couple of wires for interconnection, wireless HDMI transmitter, and some batteries. Let's go. All right, I've gathered the things we need. This is just a light stand with a 1/4-20 on top where I can screw a camera directly to it. I don't need anything super robust because the GH5 isn't very heavy, but I have the GH5, I have a 25 prime lens that should get us close. I think it's going to be a little tight of a shot, but it's all I have readily available right now, so we'll go with that. Grabbed a lens hood just to cut down on some light spillage and make sure there's a little protection around the lens. And then I have our Hollyland Mars 400S Pro wireless HDMI transmitter, and then a Sony D-Class battery and an HDMI cable. So you guys see pieces, but right about now, you guys should see a full rig sitting there. Now, yes, I'm very aware this is not a camera tripod, and I know that there's going to be some of you in the comments that are like, that's not secure, and your camera's going to fall, and that's irresponsible. But here's what you don't know. We are in this process of slowly over time changing little things that to partners of our church might see as big things if we move too fast. So, and I really do advise this in any type of ministry environment. Big changes need to happen slow and over time. It's just smoother that way. You typically, most of the time, will have a little less pushback from those that just don't like change and are unwilling to change. And that's who they are. That's not a bad thing. But that said, with this specific situation, we're going for as low profile and inconspicuous as possible because we've never actually had cameras on our stage before. We don't currently have a roaming cam or anything like that. Our main shots are two PTZs that are back there and over there on our back wall, and they're good for what they are, but at the end of the day, they're still glorified security cameras. So our media pastor has literally, and he's an excellent video guy, professional videographer, has been doing it for a long time, but he has literally lobotomized these cameras and told them exactly what to see and how to think so that we can pull off what we do with them. But it means we're still really limited. And so if you punch in too far, things just get grainy and distorted, and because you don't want to, the digital punch, anyways. Those of you that deal with that know exactly what I'm talking about. So we're gonna try this thing. I think I wanna try it over by the keys first. I really want a drum shot, but just for the sake of trying it, we're gonna set it up over by the keys and see how that looks. So this is kind of the shot that I want. And unfortunately, with the 25mm lens on that micro four thirds sensor, this is really about the only shot I could get over here. And it's still not very inconspicuous, as that is sitting on a white wall. Now, I tried moving it closer into this little area here, but then of course all you get is the end of the keyboard. And I brought the height down and tried it down here, but again, that 25mm lens is just too close to really get anything without the tripod being just awkward, and I don't want awkward. So that said, I think I found a shot we're gonna try, which is here. I tried it inside first and it was just too tight. So what I'm doing is I'm avoiding these rails here and here. I've cleaned the glass here, and we're just kind of shooting through, and I'm not getting a whole lot of distortion. Obviously you can see me in the glass if you look really close, but this will be so washed with light on Sunday morning, and I've kind of already looked at that I'm not terribly worried about it. So I think it's going to be fine. Now, what is really cool about this rig here, even though that's not my favorite shot, and it'll look fine on camera, I just went and tested it in the booth with some lights on just to see, make sure everything looks okay. And honestly, it really does. I'm not worried about matching color science too terribly close and putting in a ton of work, because this is going to move to a different position in the next week or so. But I do want to show you kind of the setup here. I know you got to see some B-roll of it earlier, but it's pretty neat. So let's take a look. What we're looking at is the GH5 directly on a light stand, and that base can go much wider, but I don't have it there at the moment. So the GH5 is screwed straight onto the light stand with a 1/4-20, and then I've got the Hollyland 400S Pro hot shoe mounted on top. Now, the Hollyland, it's actually a cold shoe, but it's obviously going into the hot shoe mount on the camera. And then I've just got a really big Sony style battery on the back. You can pick these up generic for, I don't know, $27 or so. And then HDMI running down into the camera. Here's something else really neat. This is my first time really messing with a GH5. I learned to shoot on Nikon. I'm still learning to shoot, for what that's worth. But Nikon's really the only camera I know anything about the menus on. But the GH5 is pretty simple to pick up. I love, though, that there's a full-size HDMI port on the GH5. And I know they did that intentionally because of what these get used for a lot. But it was really neat. Just came out of there up into the Hollyland wireless transmitter. What's neat about this is also the HDMI SDI combo. So the receiver that's in my video room back there, it's going in HDMI here, but there I'm coming straight out SDI into our Blackmagic ATEM. We're using the Constellation ME2. We've been very happy with it so far, but it's neat. Now, there is a little bit of latency. Yesterday I had the transmitter and the receiver set up, and I was doing some testing before I ever pulled any of this out. And I found that there's about, I don't know, 4 to 5-ish milliseconds of latency. It's enough that you notice if you're listening and watching at the same time, and there's something that needs to be synced up, like lips or watching somebody play drums, for example. But it's not so much that just cutting to that shot real quick and then bouncing off of it, most people aren't going to notice that much. We are looking at a couple other options if we go this route. long term, like the Teradek Ace 500, which is said to have 0 latency. And I have a couple of friends that are using those on roaming cams, and they line up very, very well. If there's any latency, it is very minute. So I'm pretty happy with the way it's set up. It's not ideal, and it's not my favorite shot, but we'll see what happens. It's more novelty than anything. We're just trying it out, seeing if we like it. It'll probably move to a different location next week or the week after that. I'm just going to run it off of battery power Sunday, because why not? I've got a couple of these large Sony style batteries, and I've got a couple of batteries for the GH5, and I did some testing yesterday where I charged everything up fully, stuck the batteries in it, and saw how long I could get out of it running at the standard that I wanted to, and even playing with settings and changing stuff and different resolutions on the camera and frames per second and all this. I still was able to get around, I don't know, 2 hours and 45 minutes running everything solid, and I've got 2 sets of that. So I'm not worried about it, but worst case scenario, my worship pastor has a dummy battery for the GH5 that I can just shove in there. The Hollyland is being surprisingly efficient with its power, so I'm happy with it, at least for just trying it out, proof of concept, and we'll see what happens on Sunday. Well, guys, that about does it for today. Thanks for hanging out with me. I know this wasn't a super long vlog or anything super exciting going on, but maybe you saw an idea with the GH5 or something for your ministry, or maybe the green room situation, maybe, I hope, inspired you to do something for your volunteers if you don't already have that. I'm going to take out these boxes from filling up the green room, and then I am headed to the house. Red Bull, if you ever see this, help your boy out. Would super appreciate that. And you guys have a great day. I'm praying for you. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. More content coming very soon. Got quite a few things in the can that I'm working on right now, and we'll have those out as soon as I can. Well, again, thanks for joining me, and I'll see you guys real soon. I just came out to my car. After going through the car wash earlier today and taking the extra time to hand dry it and get all the water spots off and do the thing, the lawn crew is here, and while I was inside working, they cut everything and blew it all over my car.